Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, it is KingNido here and we are coming to you with the start of the 2023 PokeType League season. It will be the Spike Myth Grunts hosting the Motorstoke Engines. The Grunts are the home side, so they will have their hidden ability in this matchup. The two sides both on the physically offensive side. Also, the fire types though do have that special attack going their way as well. Let us know in the comments below who you think will win this matchup. Hopefully we could see a clash between the Paradox Pokemon being Roaring Moon and Iron Moth, but in the meantime, let's send it down to the field to get this on.
3, 2, 1, go!
And here we go, and the first Pokemon to come out for the Motorstoke Engines are Houndoom and Arcanine, and it will be Mabosstiff and Luxray coming out for the Spike Myth Grunts, as Mabosstiff and Luxray will have their attack stats lowered thanks to that Intimidate ability from Arcanine. But Luxray, being the terrestrial Pokemon for the Dark types, will immediately become a Dark type Pokemon, switching out its electric typing here. And how fitting that we have so many puppers on the field right now. It is a battle of the dogs here in the Galar region, as Houndoom is going to kick things off with a Wild Charge. It will get some recoil damage from this, but it does get a good hit there on Mabosstiff. There's that recoil damage. Arcanine, though, is going to follow it up with the Glaive Rush here. Also going to from Mabosstiff, who is able to hold on, is becoming an easy target already, but an Earth Power in response onto Arcanine, and Arcanine is able to hold on by a thread. We do not get the one-hit wonder here, but the Feather Dance now from Luxray is going to lower that attack stat of Arcanine. It has that base attack of 110, as the Lumina Crash will not affect the Dark types from Houndoom. You think it would know better, being part Dark type, but here's a Slam from Arcanine. Mabosstiff holds on that lowered attack stat coming in clutch there for the Grunts, as a Teeter Dance now from Mabosstiff is going to leave all other Pokemon, including Luxray, on the field confused here. They need to shake it off, especially Arcanine. It could take itself out of this matchup if it is not careful. Luxray will be the first one though trying to shake off this confusion. It does not want to do damage to itself, and I'm sure Mabosstiff feels the same way, but Luxray is going to go for the Whirlwind. It is going to send Houndoom back to the bench. You have to think it might have actually paid off to send Arcanine back to the bench, but instead out comes Iron Moth being dragged out onto the field, and immediately Iron Moth is going to go for the Blaze Kick here, and Mabosstiff is eliminated. The first Pokemon taken out of this season is the Pupper, as Arcanine could take itself out. Again, it needs to shake off this confusion. It will be able to, and it goes for the super effective Cross Chop onto Luxray, and it is a one-hit wonder. With that critical hit, the Motorstoke Engines are able to complete the huge play, taking out the two opposing Pokemon in the one turn. And out comes Skuntank for the Spike Myth Grunts, and it is going to be joined by King Gambit as the speed swap from Iron Moth to King Gambit. Iron Moth has just slowed itself down here, as we have King Gambit going for the Hyper Voice, and it eliminates Arcanine from this matchup. The Spike Myth Grunts are still in this matchup, as Skuntank with the Cotton Spore now onto Iron Moth. It is going to lower its speed even more so, as Houndoom comes back out for the Engines, and King Gambit with the Burn Up. It does fail. King Gambit actually seems like such a hard word to say in this context, but Will-O-Wisp now from Houndoom onto Skuntank is going to leave it with that burn status condition, so it is going to have continuous damage done to it throughout this matchup, as long as it remains in it anyway, as Skuntank with the Synthesis tries to restore its health, but it is at full strength here, as Iron Moth now with the Retaliate onto Skuntank. A fantastic hit there with that move, and there's Skuntank taking the extra damage from its burn. It is becoming an easy target in this matchup, as King Gambit now with the Axe Kick onto Houndoom, and it gets another elimination with that super effective hit. It has leveled the playing field between the Dark types and the Fire types. Here is the Lunge now, not very effective there onto Iron Moth, but it will lower Iron Moth's attack stat here, as Iron Moth goes for the Fire Blast onto King Gambit, and it is a one-hit wonder, and it wasn't even King Gambit, it was Zoroark, whose illusion wears off right before it goes back to the bench. It is taken out of this matchup. That was a fantastic play there by Iron Moth. Didn't even have to get the super effective damage added to it, as the real King Gambit comes out onto the field now. Cinderace coming out for the Motorstoke Engines, and King Gambit with that pressure ability is going to be exerting that over the Engines, as a no retreat now from Cinderace. It is going to go for the Omni Boost, but it will not be able to escape here it will want to capitalize though on that boosted 116 base attack. It's going to be quicker than everyone with that 119 base speed. As the Mystical Fire now from Skuntank isn't very effective there onto Cinderace. However, it does lower Cinderace's special attack stat. King Gambit, the real King Gambit though, going for the Outrage. It gets a good hit there on the Omni boosted Cinderace as Throat Chop again, except this time it's not very effective onto King Gambit from Iron Moth. Skuntank still suffering the effects of that burn. Cinderace now going for the Leech Life, and Skuntank is taken out of this matchup. Motostoke Engine's building some more momentum as there are only 2 Pokemon remaining for the Grunts. And we will find out shortly who that Pokemon is, but first King Gambit will continue with the Outrage, doing that damage to Cinderace. That restored health very crucial as the Heal Bell from Iron Moth does make the bell chime, but it will fail here. And now out comes Roaring Moon, the only Pokemon that could match up Cinderace in that speed, but Cinderace does have that speed boost already as the Mega Drain won't be very effective there onto Roaring Moon. And Roaring Moon going for its first move of the matchup goes with the Fake Out onto Cinderace, but it won't get the flinch because it's already gone. But King Gambit's going to continue the Outrage and gets the elimination. Cinderace is taken out of this matchup. Spikeman's Grunts are still in it. It is a 2 versus 3 battle here, but now King Gambit is confused due to the fatigue of that Outrage. It was able to get 3 of those hits, so as Iron Moth with the Spit Up, it will fail unfortunately. And now out comes Charizard onto the field. Roaring Moon going for the Clear Smog, immediately going for Charizard. There are no stat changes on Charizard to have eliminated, as Charizard with the Tickle going to lower those offensive stats of King Gambit. King Gambit with that 135 base attack as well. Roaring Moon 139 base attack. There's where that physical offense really shines for the Spikeman Grunts. King Gambit continuing with the Dragon type moves, goes for the Dragon Darts, hits Charizard with the first one, hits Iron Moth with the second one. That is not a Dragon type Charizard, however, as the Venoshock from Iron Moth gets a good hit there onto Roaring Moon, who responds with the Noble Roar onto its fellow Paradox, lowering its attack stat and its special attack as well. Now Charizard going for the Dragon Claw, and it is not very effective on King Gambit, who tanks that attack, trying to shake off its confusion here. Does not want to do damage to itself. It is successful in shaking off, and it goes for the Thunder. But Charizard avoids that Thunder, which would have been super effective. The Hurricane now from Iron Moth onto King Gambit, not very effective. And now Roaring Moon with the Roar. Another Fire-type Pokemon being sent back to the bench prematurely, and it is Iron Moth. And now out comes Ceruledge as the last Pokemon for the Motostoke Engines. We know all the Pokemon in this matchup now is a Bug Bite onto King Gambit from Charizard. Steals and eats its Leopard Berry right in front of it there. I'm sure it enjoyed eating that. Does get the PP boost as well. King Gambit wants to shake off this confusion. Surely wants to get a little bit of revenge there on Charizard for stealing its food. Going for the Toxic, but it is going to poison Ceruledge there. So Ceruledge is going to take continuous damage from that poisoning that's going to get gradually worse as every turn continues. That is not good for the Motostoke Engines. They do not want those status conditions. And the triple arrows now from Roaring Moon won't affect the Ghost type Ceruledge, as Charizard with the Blast Burn onto Roaring Moon. Not very effective, but that is a good hit for a not very effective move. Airy Spell will not affect Roaring Moon. It is immune to that. And King Gambit has snapped out of its confusion now, and it is going to go for the Incinerate. And Ceruledge's Flash Fire gets that Fire type boost. Not very effective on Charizard there, having its Leopard Berry burned up. And there's Ceruledge taking that first poisoning damage in this matchup. As I said, it will get continuously worse as the Wish by Roaring Moon. We'll see if that wish is able to come true for it. Surely that wish will be to win the matchup and restore its health, as Charizard having to recharge. The Steel Roller now from Ceruledge does fail, allowing King Gambit to go for the Play Nice onto Charizard. Maybe it's trying to sucker it in here. Charizard does have its attack stat lowered as that poisoning, as I said, gets worse for Ceruledge. Now Roaring Moon is going to go for the Sweet Scent on the field here. It is going to lower the evasiveness of the Fire-type Pokemon, making them easier targets to hit on this field. But Charizard going with the Tail Whip is going to try and lower the defenses of the Dark types here, make it easier to do damage to them. And they are both low on health at the moment. Ceruledge With the Acid Spray, it doesn't affect King Gambit due to its Steel typing. King Gambit is going to respond with the Vice Grip onto Charizard. Okay hit there, but gets that chip damage regardless. And there is that wish coming true for Roaring Moon. Does have its health restored, but not having its health restored whatsoever is Ceruledge, who is hurt by the poisoning. Now that Thrash from Roaring Moon won't affect the Fire Ghost type. Yet again, immune to moves. As an Accelerock onto Roaring Moon from Charizard, practically having to start from square one. Zen Headbutt will not affect the Dark types, not affecting Roaring Moon from Ceruledge here. As the stored power onto Charizard does very minimal damage there from King Gambit, but Ceruledge is able to hold on. It will last at least one more turn, as the tackle won't affect Ceruledge from Roaring Moon, yet again avoiding a normal type move. Charizard with the Sand Tomb, and King Gambit avoids that attack, as Ceruledge is going to go for the taunt, telling Roaring Moon to just bring it before it leaves this battlefield. Roaring Moon won't have to worry about that, but King Gambit is going to confide in Ceruledge. Surely it must be telling it that it is about to be eliminated from this matchup, and that it is after having its special attack lowered. It is a 2 versus 2 battle. Iron Moth will be coming back out onto this field. It is the highest base stat total Pokemon on the Motor Stoke engines, as the struggle from Roaring Moon gets the recoil damage, hits Iron Moth with that. Iron Moth does respond with the rollout here onto King Gambit, not very effective there. And now Charizard is going to follow it up with the Water Spout. It hits both Roaring Moon and King Gambit, not very effective on Roaring Moon, does very little damage to King Gambit, who goes for the Lunar Dance. It wants to take itself out, but it does fail. There's no one to take its place. Roaring Moon, having no moves left after that taunt, goes for the struggle yet again onto Iron Moth, and Iron Moth is eliminated. Charizard is all by itself. Roaring Moon is still in this matchup after the recall. Charizard by itself goes for the Incinerate, hits both Dark-type Pokemon, super effective on King Gambit, not very effective on Roaring Moon, but that does not matter because it has eliminated both Dark-type Pokemon. With the huge play, it gets the victory for the Motor Stoke engines after this very back and forth match to kick off the 2023 PokeType League season. A fantastic victory for the engines here in Spikemouth. That is going to put them at the very top of the leaderboard for the time being, but this is just the very first matchup. This will be updated obviously at the end of every matchup. Let us know in the comments below though who you thought was the best on field at Nidorinos. Our very next matchup will be the Olivine Carbons taking on the Saffron Power Links in our next match. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome. I cannot wait to bring so many more of these to you. And until that time comes, I will see you when you see me.